Well, listen. If you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Voters do not agree with these despicable women on The View. They are wildly out of touch with the vast majority of Americans, and frankly, they should seek immediate help.
Here's the thing. When you've got nothing real to say, you just ramble. It's non-stop noise, filler words wrapped in smug attitudes. The ladies on The View, they're completely out of touch with everyday Americans. The voters aren't buying what they're selling, and maybe it's time they tune in to actual media instead of their echo chamber. For years, Whoopi Goldberg ruled The View like daytime TV royalty, cutting people off, steamrolling any dissent, and acting like her word was gospel. But in one jaw-dropping moment, that grip shattered. And the person who did it? Karoline Leavitt. Nobody saw it coming. No one expected a takedown of that scale. The episode started like any other. Smug grins, eye rolls, and a table full of synchronized head nods, all marching to the same tired, left-leaning drumbeat. But by the end of it, the entire set was rattled. Whoopi wasn't just challenged, she was dethroned.
Been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
I want to be clear, though, it's not her first job. It was her first press briefing. She worked in the previous Trump administration.
Whoopi, cool and cocky as ever, leaned back in her seat, fully expecting to dominate yet another roundtable. Then came the topic of wokeness, the sacred cow of The View, practically. The show's religion at this point. They guard it like it's holy scripture, and honestly, for them, it kind of is. Feeling untouchable, Whoopi struck first. That smug little smirk crept across her face as she locked eyes with Karoline. Then came the line, "Without wokeness, you wouldn't even have this job." Boom. Just like that, the air got thick. The tension, instant. Even Joy Behar, who's made a career out of roasting conservatives, visibly squirmed in her seat. The energy in the room completely shifted. You could feel the grip of Whoopi's authority slipping.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. I would like to talk about Joe Biden and Donald Trump, who you work for.
I am stating facts that your colleagues have stated in the past.
Okay,
now, as
I'm
for
sorry,
this
guys.
debate,
We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time.
That was so good.
Ma'am, I'm going to stop this interview if you continue to attack my colleagues. That's what Caitlin Collins blurted out, clearly rattled. But Karoline didn't flinch. She shot back, "I'm stating facts your colleagues have said in the past." Boom. No yelling, no flailing, just cold, hard facts, and Collins had no comeback. Seconds. Later, Caitlin panicked. "We're going to come back out to the panel. Karoline, thank you very much for your time." Just like that, she pulled the plug. A total meltdown. Even the panel couldn't hide how rattled they were.
In a statement afterwards, this young lady claimed her, quote, on-air snub proves that you-know-who will not be treated fairly in the upcoming debate. Now, do you think this is going to make people doubt whether CNN can stay objective, or is this more the same of, everybody's against me, it's all rigged, I tell you. Is everything rigged?
No, it's their MO. That's what they do. Rachel Maddow said last week, she's like, if the election is lost, it was rigged. If there's a debate, then the moderators are probably biased and they're prejudiced against me.
What Whoopi says next, exactly what you'd expect. Tired, smug, and totally out of touch. After decades behind that desk, you'd think she'd come up with something original, but nope. Same old script, same old tone. She leaned forward, gave her signature eye roll, and dropped the most predictable line ever. It wasn't witty. It wasn't sharp. It was just lazy. At this point, you can almost hear the audience groan inside. Instead of rising to the moment, Whoopi defaulted to her greatest hits of dismissiveness. She had a chance to bring the heat, but all we got was reheated leftovers. Let's just see how far she'll go to offend the madness.
divisive and disgusting speech that any president, certainly in my lifetime, has ever given. He essentially waged war on half of the country by saying that we are all a threat to democracy because we believe in putting America first. It's not radical to want to put your country and your own people first. It's not radical to want to have a strong border, a strong military, and to unleash the might of your own economy, not economies around the world.
The atmosphere was electric. You could feel the tension spike instantly. Everyone braced themselves, but Whoopi clearly didn't see what was coming. This wasn't just some heated panel debate. This was a direct attack on Karoline's entire career. Whoopi casually reduced her success to a side effect of wokeness, completely dismissing her grit, effort, and merit. It was smug, calculated, and designed to make Karoline look small, and yet, the audience clapped like they were on cue. But something shifted. Even through the applause, you could feel it. Uneasy, hesitant. Karoline didn't flinch. No defensive panic, no snarky reply, just a slow, calm smile. The kind of smile that says, "You just made your biggest mistake." Then she hit back, not with emotion, but with facts. Cold, undeniable, bulletproof facts.
You know, we have seen cultural Marxism trickling its way through every institution in this country. The public school system, the higher education university system, Hollywood, big tech, the corrupt mainstream media that I fought against in President Trump's White House are indoctrinating my generation of Americans into hating our country, hating one another based on race and gender and all of this other BS, quite frankly.
This was, hands down, one of the most divisive presidential speeches in modern history. He didn't just disagree with political opponents. He practically declared war on them, labeling half the country as a threat to democracy just because they believe in putting America first. That's not leadership, that's scapegoating, and it's dangerous. Wanting a secure border isn't radical. Building a strong military isn't extreme. Revving up your own economy instead of funding others. How is that controversial? These are basic priorities for any nation that values strength and sovereignty. But according to this speech, common sense is now labeled extremism.
Well, you know, listen, if you don't have anything to say, you blab. You just go on and 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 on.
Right.
That's what you hear.
Yeah.
When they don't have anything to hold you with, nothing to make you think about what they have to say.
She's incredibly articulate, isn't she? It's wild how the women on The View chose to mock her instead of uplifting her. They claim to champion women's voices, but only the ones that echo their own beliefs. The second a strong, informed woman challenges their narrative, it's claws out. This isn't about female empowerment. It's about ideological control. They want unity, but only if you agree with them 100%. Karoline, on the other hand, doesn't flinch. She stands tall and fires back with facts. It says a lot that they're rattled by someone who came prepared with truth over spin. Let's see what she hits them with next. It's about to get uncomfortable for The View.
They talk at you, not to you, and that's what she was doing, and she was doing it, and it's not new.
No.
But everybody's hip to you all now.
Yeah.
And we are anticipating that you are not prepared. Because you keep saying you going and you preparing when you're on the trail.
The woman known for dominating every conversation had finally met her match. Whoopi shifted in her seat. No smirk, no smug energy, just raw discomfort. Her hands fidgeted, grasping for control that simply wasn't there anymore. She tried. To speak, nothing. Tried again. Still nothing. Karoline had taken command, calmly dismantling her without theatrics. And Whoopi? She was cornered, with no script, no applause, and no escape. Even the audience, usually quick to cheer, froze in awkward silence. The tension was electric. No laughter, no clapping, just stunned disbelief. For once, the queen of daytime talk had been dethroned, live and unfiltered.
That you saw live on this program yesterday. Joy Behar stirring the pot of controversy after saying this about Karoline.
She's probably been put in there because according to Donald Trump, she's a 10. You know that's what it is.
Do you want to take this?
So you cannot be attractive and smart? I will try to give Joy the benefit, and thank you. I try to give Joy the benefit of the doubt that she didn't see that briefing. Because if you saw that yesterday on numerous topics, no big binder, I think she might have had a different impression of this young woman who held her own.
And then came the internet. Brutal, merciless, and lightning fast. Whoopi's frozen expression turned into memes, clips, and reaction vids within minutes. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. She was everywhere, and not in a good way. But what made it worse? This wasn't Whoopi's first ride on the controversy carousel. Her track record is a legal minefield. Holocaust. Comments, tone-deaf defenses, and lawsuits galore. Carrie Underwood, Elon Musk, Karoline Leavitt, all gunning for accountability now. ABC's been dragged through one PR nightmare after another, all thanks to Whoopi's unchecked mic. And this time, there's no scapegoat, no producers to shift blame to. It's all on her. And just when things looked bad, the Carrie Underwood lawsuit uncovers something explosive.
I mean, you would have to give her the benefit of the doubt that she did absolutely no research or reading about anything dealing with Karoline Leavitt before she made that remark. Because Karoline Leavitt she went to St. Anselm College, she worked for WMUR
Ran
TV.
for Congress?
In New Hampshire, she ran for Congress at the age of 25, put on a very good campaign. She lost by 8 or 9 points, but she still put on a good campaign. Then she was the press secretary for the Trump campaign, going on TV literally every day.
Well, heavily pregnant and a new mom.
Pregnant. Yeah, she's a new mother. And then she goes out yesterday and gives and this again, this is speaking very objectively, because I've watched every press secretary since going back to Marlon Fitzwater. Yeah, I'm that old. And she went out there for her very first briefing at the age of 27 years old, the youngest press secretary ever, and did a terrific job.
Leaked emails shocked the industry, revealing that ABC had masterminded the Carrie Underwood smear campaign for ratings. This wasn't a mistake. It was a cold, calculated move to drum up outrage and boost those precious viewer numbers. When the truth broke, the fallout was immediate. ABC went into full damage control, settling for a massive undisclosed amount. But the damage to The View's reputation was done. Then came Elon Musk, and Whoopi and her crew couldn't help but go after him, spreading misinformation about ITER. Musk hit back hard with a lawsuit, sending the show back into crisis mode. Advertisers, once loyal, started pulling out, realizing that the constant scandal was no longer worth the risk. The View, once a powerhouse, was crumbling, and with each new lawsuit, its foundation cracked deeper. What was once a ratings machine was now a sinking ship, and ABC couldn't stop the spiral.
I would like this young lady this is her first job, I would like her to do a little homework. Because she said something yesterday that really pissed me off. And that was, she said, there will be no wokeness here.
Oh, yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Because without that wokeness, you might not have that job.
Yeah.
Because women were not invited to that table. Women were not invited to many tables in this nation.
Words are starting to sound like a broken record. She's spinning in circles, desperately trying to regain control. But Karoline, cool and collected, isn't falling for it. She's the one who's truly standing her ground, challenging the narrative and exposing the truth. In a sea of media manipulation, Karoline is the voice of reason, cutting through the noise. It's refreshing to see someone who refuses to back down, especially in a world where most just owe with the flow. She's the real hero here, taking on the system that's long been rigged to protect people like Whoopi. While Whoopi tries to cling to power, Karoline is pushing back against everything they stand for. This is a battle of ideals, and Karoline's got the facts on her side.
The reason we fought and busted our behinds to make sure that you didn't have to worry about this. And now to hear you talk about it and to hear anybody talk about the wokeness. The wokeness was put in place for a reason, because black people couldn't get into colleges, because women could not get into the colleges they wanted to go to. This is all women. Yeah. See, this is not black, Asian, this is all women. Women were not invited to this party. It was a man's world, and we busted our...
Whoopi Goldberg's reign at The View ended with a bang, not a whimper. After years of controlling the narrative, silencing opposition, and running the show like a queen, her showdown with Karoline Leavitt was her downfall. The network tried to spin it as a break for Whoopi, but everyone saw the truth. She'd been ousted. With advertisers pulling their support and longtime fans losing faith, it became clear. The View was at a crossroads. Will they try to replace Whoopi with another powerhouse to maintain the old guard, or will they finally make a bold move to reinvent themselves? This could be the beginning of the end for The View, or a chance for them to rebuild. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. We're eager to hear your thoughts.